How many games will the Baltimore Ravens win in 2024? What's going on, Ravens fans, as we say, the Flock Nation? This is Emmanuel Jones here, back at it with another NFL record prediction. And this time we'll be doing our record prediction for the Baltimore Ravens for a 2024 NFL season. Give you my thoughts, give you my game analysis, see which games I think the Ravens will win, which games I think the Ravens will lose. So before I give you my record prediction for the Baltimore Ravens for a 2024 NFL season, don't forget to put a thumbs up to like the video, subscribe to my channel for more options, and don't forget to comment down your opinion below to see how many games you think the Ravens will win. See how they do. Do you think they'll make the playoffs? Which seed will they be in the playoffs? Do you think they can win the division once again, or do you think they're going to miss out on the playoffs? So let me know in the comments below what you think about the Ravens. Week 1, Ravens got to play on the road against Kansas City Chiefs on a Thursday game. This game can definitely go either way. Now, this is a rematch from the playoffs. Now, some people could be on the Ravens because the Ravens might want that revenge from what happened in the playoffs. But you know what? I want to go with the Ravens here, but Ravens got a new defensive coordinator, a new improved offensive line, and such things like that. So it's going to be a little bit of learning curves right there for the Ravens. I'm going to say the Chiefs are going to win this game. I'm giving the Ravens their first L of the season because the game's in Arrowhead, and it's a tough place to play at. I think the crowd's going to be loud, and, Arrowhead is a tough place to play at, and especially the Chiefs are really good at home. Last year when they played against the Lions, they lost in the opener. That's when, the Chiefs offense kind of blew it. But I don't think the Chiefs offense is going to blow it this time. I think their defense can do a really good job defending Lamar, blitzing him, especially make him throw the ball in the middle of the field. I think they can do that. But they don't got L'Jarius Sneed, though, anymore. So I think the Chiefs secondary, can definitely, like, find a way to, like, because I'm not too worried about their secondary. I mean, as long as they can crowd the box, I think they can stop the run really well. I mean, especially, Derrick Henry has definitely did struggle against this Chiefs team in the past. So I think the Chiefs can do a good job slowing them down, which I don't think they'll shut them down. I think they can contain them in the running game. And I think the Chiefs offense, I feel like Andy Reid will still have a good game plan against this Ravens defense as well. So, yeah. So I'm going to say the Chiefs win this game because they're at home. They're the more complete team. And all that. So, yeah. So I think, the Chiefs, win this game here. So, yeah, next game, the Ravens got to play against the Raiders on the road at home. Obviously, I think the Ravens should bounce back to beat the Raiders. I mean, there could be a tough team. They could be physical. I think the Ravens have a really good defense that can really slow down, I feel like they do have the corners to at least man up against the Raiders receiving core. They have the pass rush to at least get after, who's playing core for the Raiders. And, the Raiders have a really good pass rush, but the Raiders secondary is totally not great. So I think Zay Flowers, Stroud Bateman, Isaiah Likely, and Mark Andrews, those guys are going to be tough to cover for the Raiders secondary to handle. So I think the Ravens win this game, especially they're a better team. They're at home, better core, better coach. So, yeah, the Ravens should easily win that game. Week 3, they got to play against the Cowboys. Obviously, this is another tough game. This is a game that can definitely go either way. Now, most people are kind of on the Ravens because Ravens are kind of a better team than the Cowboys. But I don't know. I'm going to come back to this one because that's a tricky game to predict. But week 4 against the Bills, give them a win here. I think I think the Ravens, are the better team overall. Um I feel like they got more weapons on offense than the Bills because the Bills don't really have a lot of weapons on offense that scare you a lot. But I think their offensive line is okay. They got a fine, okay defense, but Josh Allen may not have a lot of weapons on offense that's scary. Especially, I think the Ravens secondary can do a good job playing sticky coverage, especially against an underwhelming receiving core of Buffalo. And I think their defensive line can get difficult on Josh Allen, and I think they can stop their running game as well. They can throw the ball on the Bills as well. So yeah, I mean, I kind of remember last time the Bills have definitely got blown out and they end up coming back. I don't see it happening again. I think Lamar Jackson will come through. So that's pretty much why I think the Ravens are going to win this game at home. Especially, I think they're kind of a better team overall and have more weapons on offense. And they're at home too. So yeah, I think the Ravens find a way to win that game. Week 5 against the Bengals, I got them losing the first game because the game's in Cincy, and the Bengals tend to play well against the Ravens. So yeah, especially I don't see the Ravens sweeping them as too. So yeah, that's pretty much why. Week 6 against the Commanders, I'm giving the Ravens a win against the Commanders. Like, I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road, especially against a good defense like the Commanders. Yeah, I think the Ravens easily win that game. They have the better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're at home. They're overall better team as of lately. So yeah, and have the better defense, which that can really make life difficult on Jaden Daniels. And they have the corners to match up well with the receivers of Commanders. And I feel like Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews will be a and Isaiah Likely, like the weapons on offense for the Ravens will be a problem for that Commander secondary, which is not really good. So yeah, I think the Ravens win this game. Next game we have week 7. We have the Ravens versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on a Monday. This is another swing game that can go either way. Now I know Florida is kind of a tricky place to play at. Now I kind of remember from 2 years ago the Ravens beat them where they couldn't defend Lamar and all that. But this could be looking different. I mean, Todd Bowles is good against mobile quarterbacks. I feel like that's a game I think the Bucs can win, but I'm going to lean towards the Ravens because I think the Ravens are the more superior team, have the better coaching staff, better quarterback. So, yeah. And especially, I think the Ravens defense can do enough to make life difficult on Baker Mayfield, and they have the corners to match up well with the Bucs receivers as well. So, yeah. I think their defense can totally win them this game. Especially, I think the offense can definitely move the ball on the Bucs. So yeah, because sometimes the Ravens the Bucs defense is totally can get soft at times. So yeah, I think it will be close, but I think the Ravens find a way to win that game. Week 8 against the Cleveland Browns, I got them losing the first game against the Browns because the game's in Cleveland and the Browns tend to play the Ravens really well. So yeah, especially on defense, they match up well with the Ravens. Like they have the pass rush to get after Lamar and make life difficult on him. They have the secondary to cover Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. And their offensive line is pretty strong, which I think they can run the ball on them, the Ravens, and I think that can definitely give Deshaun Watson a lot of time, which I think the Browns. I think they can control the clock in this game, keep Lamar on the sideline. So I think the Browns find a way to pull this one off. Week 9 against the Denver Broncos, they should easily beat the Broncos. Broncos are one of the worst teams in the league. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the league coming this season. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Zach Wilson, Bo Nix. I wouldn't trust a rookie on the road, especially against a really good defense like the Ravens. Yeah. And I think the Ravens, the Broncos are just not a complete team. Like, they don't have a great defense. I think the Ravens can run the ball on them. And, I think Lamar Jackson's going to have a lot of time. And I think the defense is going to give the Broncos offense issues. Like, they have the corners to man up against Cortland Sutton because I think their receiving core outside of Cortland Sutton is not good. And I think the Ravens, are just overall better team, better quarterback. They're at home. So Yeah, I mean that's pretty much why I think the Ravens win that game. All right, next game they got to play against the Bengals on a short week. This is on Thursday at home in Baltimore. I'm giving the Ravens a win here because the Ravens they're at home in this game. They should be able to split the season series because Ravens are at home and they tend to play well against the Bengals. So yeah, I mean they have the defense to match up well with the Bengals receivers. Like they have like enough to at least make life difficult on Joe Burrow. So yeah, I think the Ravens find a way to win that game. Especially they can really move the ball on the Bengals because the Bengals defense was totally not great last year, but I think it's going to get better this year. So yeah, I think the Ravens win that second game. Then next game, week 11, they got to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is in Pittsburgh. This is a fluky. This is kind of a fluky matchup. I'm going with the Steelers here in the first game because the Steelers tend to play the Ravens really well. That's when the Ravens kept dropping passes like last year in that first game. Like, yeah. I mean, Russell Wilson's kind of a fluky quarterback. He's kind of fluky. I mean, he's kind of regressed this season. Now, Steelers got a new improved offensive line. They have a great pass rush that can really get after Lamar. And their secondary dudes does a really good job at covering. So maybe Joey Porter can like 1-on-1 against Zay Flowers, Mika Fitzpatrick on and Mark Andrews. I mean, yeah, this is a good matchup for the Steelers. So I think it could be a low scoring game, but I think the Steelers can win that game. Ravens versus the Chargers. Obviously, this is on a Monday night football. This is kind of a tricky matchup. I kind of went back and forth on this game. I'm going to come back to this. So, yeah. Week 13, Eagles versus Baltimore Ravens. This is a tricky matchup, but this is a game I think Philly can definitely win because they have a lot of weapons on offense that can definitely give the Ravens defense problems. But I think it will be a fun game to watch. Two black quarterbacks playing against each other. But I think it's going to be very close and competitive. But I think the Ravens find a way to win this game because it's at home in their building. And I think they have a better defense, in my opinion, have a better quarterback, and trying to have a better coach. So yeah, and especially I think the Ravens, defense can do enough to make life difficult on Jalen Hurts. They can defend him, and all of a sudden, they have the corners to man up against the Eagles receivers. So yeah, especially the Eagles defense, they got improved by Gad and Vic Fangio, but I think the Eagles said their pass defense is totally not great. So I think that Ravens can throw the ball on them, which I can give Lamar Jackson a lot of time. So I think the Ravens find a way to at least win this game at home. Then they have the bye week. Then after the bye week, they have a week prepared because they have to play against the Giants on the road in New York. Actually, this is a game where the Giants did win that game. It got to be I think it was 2 years ago. So yeah, that was 2 years ago. So I'm gonna give the Ravens a win here on the road. Um, I think the Ravens are just an overall better team, better quarterback, better coaching. Um, Better team overall. I mean, Giants, they're not a really good team. Yeah, I understand the Giants beat them 2 years ago, but the Ravens, defense is going to come to play. They're going to show up. They had their secondary is going to find a way to at least man up against an unwell receiving core, especially with Malik Neighbors. And their Giants' offensive line isn't good. I think Justin Matamuke can be a terror to that. And I think they can really move the ball in the Giants, especially in the secondary. I don't think the Giants really have a good secondary that can man up against Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. So I think those guys will be a problem for that Giants defense. So yeah, I think the Ravens should easily win that game. Then week 16 against the Steelers. This is on a Saturday. I got them beating the Steelers. They'll split with Pittsburgh because I don't see them getting swept by the Steelers, again, because, last year the Steelers swept them. But I think this is a game I think the Ravens should win because it's in Baltimore. And, I felt the Steelers are going to be a really good team. This is a team that can definitely make the playoffs, or they can barely miss it. But I think the Ravens are probably going to lock up to get that wild card spot. So I think the Ravens need to win this game here, and especially I think they're a better team overall. Have the better quarterback, the better. They're at home, so yeah, I think the Ravens find a way to win that game. Week 17, they play at home against the Houston Texans. This is on Christmas Day, and the game's in Houston. This is kind of a tricky game. Because I know some people are kind of picking the Ravens to win because the Ravens are kind of a better team. But I thought the Ravens had played the Texans pretty well in both times. In the regular season, they did, especially in the playoffs. I thought that in the second half, they kind of got it together. Like they figured out how to defend CJ Stroud. But you know what? I'm probably gonna come back to this game as well. And in Week 18 against the Browns, I'm gonna give them a win here. To split the season series because the Ravens, are just a better team overall, better quarterback. They're at home, and I don't see them getting swept by the Browns. Yeah, I think the Ravens find a way to win that game. Okay, so they're sitting at 10-4-3 for now. So I think in these games, I think they're gonna at least win one or lose one of these games to either Chargers, Texans, or Cowboys. This is kind of tricky. I'm gonna say they lose to the Texans because the Texans are at home, and I feel like Stephon Diggs can definitely be a challenge here. Texans have a really good offensive line. They have a great defensive line that can really get after Lamar. They have a good secondary that can man up against the Ravens receiving core. So yeah, I think CJ Stroud can have a good game here. So I think the Texans, are gonna try their best to control the game, keep Lamar Jackson on the sidelines. So I think the Texans are gonna find a way to pull this one off. So that's 10-5-2. But I think they're gonna at least win at least they're gonna lose at least 5 or 6 games. I don't think they're gonna lose 7 or 8 because that's bold for them. Hmm. This is kind of tricky. I mean, this Chargers game is tricky, but I can definitely see the Chargers win this game because they're familiar. Because Greg Roman, the offense coordinator, is familiar with the Ravens, so maybe he can definitely give the Ravens defense a challenge and a good game plan. But at the same time, I'm going to say the Ravens are going to beat the Chargers, even though the game's in LA on a Monday. I think the Ravens are going to beat the Chargers in LA because I have a feeling that that the Ravens can move the ball in the Chargers because the Chargers defense are soft against the run at times, and their secondary looks a little bit lousy. So I think Zay Flowers and can be a challenge, and Mark Andrew Isaiah likely can be a challenge too. But I think the Ravens offense can move the ball against them, and especially I feel like they have a better defense than the Chargers. And they got more weapons on offense for the Chargers. So I think the Ravens defense can, the secondary can do so I think the Ravens defense can definitely do a good job, defending Justin Herbert, make life difficult on Justin Herbert because their pass rush can be overwhelming though. But I think their secondary can definitely get sticky against an unwilling receiving core of the Chargers because I don't think the Chargers have a lot of weapons on offense that really scare you. So I think the Ravens defense can give them a challenge like they did last year. So yeah, I think the Ravens find a way to win that game. And that Cowboys game, I might give the Ravens a win here because the Ravens are kind of a better team. But I'm probably gonna say they're gonna lose to Dallas because I think Dallas, has the personnel, to at least they got some personnel to beat the Ravens because I think the Cowboys can match the Ravens at the line of scrimmage. Dallas, has good weapons that can really give the Ravens defense some problems. And I think, their pass rush can definitely get after Lamar. They have the pass rush to get after Lamar. They have the secondary, to at least man up against, Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. They have the talent on defense to at least get after the Ravens offense, make difficult on Lamar. Even though they're not good against the run, I think they can do that. So I think the Cowboys defense is just going to win them this game here. But I think it will be closer. But I think Dallas finds a way to pull this one off. So basically, I got the Ravens going 11-6. 3-3 in their division, 7-5 in the conference, 8-0 at home, 3-6 away. Not bad. But as you look at the teams that the Ravens play in their schedule, it's tough. Like, they got a tough stretch. Like, they got to play at least teams who made the playoffs last year. Like, they got to play the Chiefs. They got to play the Cowboys. They play the Bills. They play the Bengals twice. They play the Bucks. They play the Browns twice. They play the Steelers twice, the Chargers, the Eagles, and the Texans. I mean, this is a hard schedule. Like, I can definitely see them at least like losing to the Chargers or the Bucks. I can see them lose to the Eagles, but I can definitely see them win games like the Cowboys or the Chiefs, or I can see them lose to the Bills as well. Like, I can see them at least winning, losing like one more game. But I think 11-6 sounds about right for the Ravens, and I think it's good enough to make the playoffs. I think it's good enough for the Ravens to make the playoffs. Like, I think the Ravens will probably go somewhere from like 11 to like 12 wins this year. I'm probably going to say 10 to 12 wins this year because I think the Ravens are probably going to take a little bit of a step back because they lost pieces on the offensive line despite, the Derrick Henry addition. The defense lost some pieces like Patrick Queen, but their pass rush still the same, and the secondary still the same, even though they drafted a first-round corner. And they lost Geno Stone, and yeah, and especially they lost their defense coordinator too. They have a new defense coordinator. Like, how's the defense will look with this new defense coordinator for the Ravens? That's what I'm trying to say. But the offense is still the same with an offensive play caller and Ty Monken, who's really good. So yeah, so I got the Ravens second in here. I kind of got them below the Bengals for a reason. I don't know because I think the Bengals are kind of a better team than the Ravens, but I'm probably going to put the Ravens in second place because I think the Ravens, are going to take a little bit of a step back this season, but I still think they'll be a good team. I still think they'll make the playoffs and all that. So, yeah. So, let me know in the comments section below what you guys think about the Ravens. Do you think I'm totally right? Do you think I'm wrong? Just let me know in the comments section below how you feel about the Ravens. Like, do you think the Ravens will take a step back this year? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs once again, or do you think they're going to win their division? So yeah, well, that's Emmanuel Jones for Big Fan. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later in the next video. Peace.